Hello, gorgeous heartbeat, and welcome to Heartbeats Harbor. I'm your host, Brianna Hosack, and I'm here to shine the light on the shadow path we walk as heartbeat women. Women rising into leadership roles as lightworkers, changemakers, world shakers, or as I call us, heartbeats, do not have an easy path to walk. It often feels lonely, painful, and unique, but I'm here to help you see how very not alone you are, and how beautiful the shadows surrounding you actually are when you love and integrate them on your healing journey. I create spaces and opportunities for women to step into deeper self-awareness, self-acceptance, and personal healing, community and sacred circles, as well as leadership of themselves, their families, their communities, and beyond. My business and my life is and always will be about massive change in the ways things are done around the world. I believe it's a big part of my purpose on this planet to be a voice for those who don't have one, a safe harbor for those who need one, and a beacon of light to inspire a better way. None of this is easy. I've learned that big impact requires bold action and delusional levels of confidence, as well as a ton of shadow work. If you love what you hear on this podcast and you want to be part of the growing, supportive online village of Heartbeats Harbor, make sure you join my Facebook group, which is linked below in the show notes. Now, I can't wait to get started, so let's turn on the lights.
Hey, Heartbeats. Welcome back to the Heartbeats Harbor podcast. Today we're talking about sisterhood again. I'm really passionate on this subject, so you might hear a lot of it from me. But we are talking about it because I want to help you find your true circle of women. Women who experience social isolation and lack of social support are at higher risk for poor mental health, anxiety, and depression. And I'm sure this applies, across the board with anyone, not just women, but, I talk to women. I talk to you ladies. So that's what we're talking about today. And I want to be really clear that when I talk about sisterhood, it's about more than just the family that you're born into or that you were raised in. Okay, there is the traditional definition of sisterhood, which is like your blood relatives, your actual sisters who were born into your family. Or, if you were adopted or if you had a sister that was adopted or whatever along those lines. But what I'm talking about goes beyond that. And while your family, your blood sisters can be great, the connections that are formed with chosen sisters can be equally, if not more powerful, because they're a choice, right? You don't get a choice in who is a part of your blood family. But you do get to choose who your friends are and who your circle, your village, your sisters are in that sense. So that has been transformative for me and for the women in my world. And I want more women who are listening to this or who have this shared with them, or even the women in my world who haven't gone too far with it yet, to start exploring this more and more. I've got 3 sisters. I have actually 7 siblings. I've got 4 brothers and 3 sisters. And my sisters are great. They're great people. They are, they're very different than I am. They're very girly for one. And I was always a bit of a tomboy and things like that, but I have no actual complaint about my sisters. However, the women who I have met and formed these sisterhood bonds with have been a whole other story for me. They've been there for me in ways that, maybe my sisters might be too busy to be sometimes, or, as I've stepped onto my spiritual path more, my sisters from my family of origin are, not that they're against it in any way, but they just, it hasn't been part of their experience. It has not been, it's not a subject matter that they're interested in. So for me, it has been absolutely transformative to have women who really get where I'm coming from and who are going through the same things that I'm going through, who are learning the same things that I'm learning, who are passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about. Right. And this is in the same way as finding like your best friends. This is the same thing, except for you get to have so many more than just like one best friend. Right. And one of the reasons that I get so passionate about this is because we are actually, at least most of us in the Western world, are actually operating under a set of conditions that have been like pounded into our brains for generations. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the patriarchy. I am talking about the religions and colonialism and all of that came together to intentionally turn women against each other. And this was, I personally believe, because women are so strong. When we are, hooked up together, linked up together as a team and working together and not against each other, we are powerful beyond what we can even imagine before we've experienced that. And this, hundreds of years ago, when they decided that they were going to turn family member against family member and woman against woman and friend against friend and all of that to create this distrust so that people didn't feel safe to band together and go against what the church was saying or against, all of that. It created this energy between women where we're taught that we have to fight each other to get to the top. We're taught that we have to be better than someone else instead of just being the best of who we are and the best that we can be. And this division that they created has given us these feelings of being lost and alone and unworthy of the level of friendship that I'm talking about here. And you see it all the time. You see it in high school. You see it in corporate jobs and all of this, where there's just this mean girl mentality and people judging and gossiping and, being in competition with each other and really not trusting one another, instead of collaborating and supporting one another and encouraging one another, which is the breakdown of sisterhood. And I believe personally that the breakdown of sisterhood led to the breakdown of community, which has led to most of the problems that we deal with in this day and age. Okay, whether that's pollution or global warming or the elderly not being taken care of in the same way, or all of these things, all of these sort of global problems that we have really, I think, boil down to this division between women. So my solution is fairly obvious, right? Bringing back the sacred sisterhood circle and the divine feminine, or like I love to call it the wild feminine, the natural feminine way of being with each other. That is something that I think is more important than most people realize. I think that it needs to be the first priority on the way to that global village, that community that we should have as humanity, as a people, right? Like we are all one. And having a sacred sisterhood circle is a space where women can go and have that love and acceptance and understanding and be fully understood and really feel seen and heard and cherished, and it helps to empower women to feel safer, to feel like they can accomplish what they dream, and to have the confidence that they need to really go after the things that are going to make big changes in the world. And I have so many of these goals. I've talked about them on this podcast. I've talked about them everywhere, right? I'm not quiet about my goals, but I know that I'm not the only one. And a lot of women have really big dreams that they don't even want to look at because they feel impossible and out of reach. And one of the best benefits of having this circle of women who you have true sisterhood with is that you start believing that you can do whatever it takes. You start believing that you can have all of those things that you haven't fully believed that you can have up until now. Your self-worth increases, and you have someone that you can talk to who really gets it when you need to share a struggle that you're going through, and you can get advice and you can get support, and just knowing that you have somewhere that you belong and people who really deeply understand you. It is, it's absolutely priceless. It's something that we cannot minimize as far as the importance of having that for women who are feeling isolated, especially again in this digital day and age, right? We are so disconnected sometimes. We could be more connected, but it really sped up everything for us. And so we have this rush to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and don't be present and be connected, and don't, check in with everybody all the time. And um, we don't spend the time just chatting and building these really deep bonds that is really needed in order to have this sense of community and belonging. So while these relationships are really actually the natural way of being for women, it's something that we have to retrain our brains, similar to my Suspending Disbelief podcast, where we have to retrain ourselves to believe and trust and hope and, all of that. It's something that we have to relearn. We have to unlearn the behaviors that we've been taught for centuries. And now we have to relearn how to be natural women again, who have these incredible sisterhood bonds and always have someone to turn to and always know where to go and what to do and what's best, because we have someone in our corner who can tell us, right? So this is something that I am putting a lot of my focus on in 2025. And part of that is in my offerings. Part of that is in, I've created my Wild Sisterhood Circle membership, which is a great space if you want to come and unlearn all of that conditioning and then learn how to build these authentic relationships with other women, and then learn how to create your own communities and your own circles that are unique for you, because everyone needs a different one. And obviously I can't provide the same one for everybody. That wouldn't work, but it's a great starting point for that. And it can also be the right circle for you, right? It might be the right space for you as well. So I have things like that. I also have my free group, which is a great space for women to come together. It always has been. And while the focus has sort of drifted towards the success side of things, towards the business and money and all of that, because it is specifically a space for women who are in business, who are entrepreneurs and all of that. Um, since the focus has sort of drifted that way towards, oh, it's free promotion and all of these things, I am going to be actively this year bringing that focus back to, this is the root of that success, is the sisterhood. This is where you want to start. And making sure that the emphasis is on building those relationships inside of my space. I also talk about it in all of my free spaces, and I am going to be increasing that this year. The focus on sisterhood on the podcast, on the blog, and in sort of everything that I do. And I really think that it is that important that it should be my top focus, to encourage women to get started and try to seek out and build their own sacred circles, right? It's so important that we are supporting one another, but every woman needs to find the right circle for them. And building that kind of authentic sisterhood is really difficult. As I've mentioned, and I believe like it's a nearly lost divine feminine art form. It's something that not everybody just naturally knows how to do anymore. So it's worth reclaiming that knowledge. It's worth relearning that. And um, I really hope that any of my content, whether it's the podcast or the blog. And if you haven't read it, go read the blog post on the Heartbeats Harbor blog, The Power of Sisterhood, Finding Your Strength in a Sacred Circle. And that will help get you started on finding and building your unique circle of women. And I hope that something that I say here or something that I say there inspires you to go and get started on this, because I really think
that when women come together, we're truly unstoppable. And I believe so deeply that sisterhood is the first step in creating a better world. So hopefully something here has inspired you to just go get started, put your neck out a little bit, right? Take a leap of faith, and find the women who are your sacred sisterhood circle. And whether you do it with me or whether you do it with somebody else, I really hope that you prioritize being in the room with other women who are learning to build their businesses and their lives with sisterhood as one of the highest priorities, finally, because it is so, so important. And being in the room is everything. So whether you join my sisterhood circle or my Heartbeats Harbor online village, Facebook group, or some other space, and again, it doesn't need to be with me. I may not be the one person that you need to be with in order to spark the circle that you need. So find your people, find your space, take the steps that are needed in order to make those connections. Even if it's a little bit scary, the worst that somebody can do is say, no, I'm not interested, or just really not be your ideal person. And that just, we have to allow that to be okay. We have to allow ourselves and others to say no to what's not right for us so that we can say yes to what is right for us. So yeah, I really hope that something here has sort of lit that spark for you, has got you interested in stepping along this path. And if you have questions about this, if you are not sure where to start, hit one of the links in the show notes that will take you to any of my content or my stuff so that you can find the answers, and find the people who are meant to be your circle, because they exist. They're out there, I promise. And if nothing else, keep reading the blog, keep listening to the podcast. And like I said, this is going to be my focus a lot of the time in 2025. Hopefully there will be something, if it hasn't done it already, that will spark this for you going forward.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe to be notified of new episodes. If you really love it here and want to help spread the light, please take a moment to rate the show and leave a review. They help so much. If you love listening and want to be part of the interactive and incredible online community we're growing, make sure you click the link in the description box and join the Facebook group. I promise you, it is not like other groups you've been in. Hope to meet you there soon, and I'll be talking to you next week, sending you all my love from my heartbeat to yours.